What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. Wow. Your man's Andy Margin Boo.
Oh, must be my moment. Oh,
Andy Margin Boo Ruiz. I can now report to you exclusively via the YB. You best believe is in talks with Dillian, the booty snatcher White, and or Louise Dinosaur Tease, otherwise known as Louise Old Tease. Yeah, no doubt. These two cats are what we're hearing from some sources deep inside Mexico. Yeah, obviously, your man's the YB reached out to some influential Mexican generals over there. Yeah, and they told me, listen, YB, Andy Ruiz is fixing to fight Dillian or Louise Ortiz. Now, I can't lie to you, man, it's quite interesting. I haven't done a video on Andy Ruiz in weeks, and then tutus. I do a video last night, and then this news drops, one of them peak ones. But listen, the point is, in that video last night, I exposed, exclusively once again, that Andy Ruiz came out and said, when the Wilder versus Fury free fight fell through, the man said to him, listen, Andy, do you want to get in there and get your hands on Wilder? Bearing in mind, he tried to nick AJ's belts and run off and do that fight, innit? This time last year, you nicked the belt from AJ and tried to run off and do some next goofy thing. How about now? Why don't you fight Wilder? You're in the same stable. Wilder's got nothing going on, obviously, because Fury's bottled it. Why don't you get in there? Andy Margin Boo Ruiz said,
oh, in my own lane. Oh,
talking about he's in his own lane and all this other stuff. Doing all this extra ish, yeah? Didn't want no parts of Deontay Wilder. Now, these claims, or this not claim, this news is leaked. I was informed this information about Andy Ruiz fighting Dillian Whyte or Lewis Old Tease in September. Just got me thinking that you don't want Wilder because you said you're in your own lane and you need to concentrate and get back to kind of fighting shape. Now, maybe it's because Andy Ruiz puts Wilder on this big pedestal. I don't know. If he puts Wilder on a big pedestal, then it makes sense that he wants to fight Dillian or Old Tease because they're lesser fights. But in my mind, Dillian and Deontay are all in the same kind of category. In my mind, I'd put them on more or less the same level, if that makes sense. More or less. I think Dillian would beat Wilder, but the point is they're all in that kind of mix, if that makes sense. So you don't want Wilder, but you want Dillian. Now, the reason I give you that, the reason I give you that apprehension is to say that we've heard this a lot, haven't we? A lot of people like to pick on these big names, and then when it comes to it, he'll be fighting whoever else. And I think especially as well, let's not forget, what did the fans want? When Andy Ruiz finished his fight against Arreola, what did the fans want? The fans wanted the Arreola rematch, and I think personally, yeah, that's what I want to see Andy Ruiz do. Because for me, you haven't passed go, yeah. In the game Monopoly, you have to pass go to move on. You didn't pass go, yeah. Chris Arreola played ping pong with your Barnet. He was doing your head was going bing bing bing, literally 100%. He was playing ping pong with your Barnet. But he put you down. Yeah? He had you throwing it back. He had you hitting an nene. Yeah, you're doing all that, no doubt. 100%. You dropped it down. Even though you're a big lad, yeah? You dropped it down. Chris Arreola made you drop it low. Yeah? Yeah, Macarena, one of them ones. No doubt. 100%. He made you drop it all the way down. Let's not make out that you didn't, because you did. We all saw it. I saw your head playing ping pong. You know what? Let's talk some facts here. I'm sick of all this speculating. I'm gonna give you man 2 facts right now. Number 1, your head got played. Listen, Chris Arreola leapt your head off. 100%. Bing, bing, bing. We all saw it. You were playing ping pong with your head. That's the first thing. Number 2, the other fact is he made you drop it low. Yeah? And in my mind, from a boxing point of view, if a man plays ping pong with my head and makes you drop it low, you got unfinished business. You don't pass go. And the fact that Arreola wanted it, you got unfinished business. You got Mexicano business to handle. And I think that's what's got. Unfortunately, yeah, I hate to break it to you Mexican fandons, but I get the feeling that Andy Ruiz is trying to duck that Mexican smoke. He don't want it. Instead, he's thinking, you know what, the fans. Oh, look, if I mention big names, if I mention Dillian Whyte and Ortiz, then that means I can mention. Listen, let me tell you, man, what I think's going on here. What I think's going on. Ruiz don't want to fight Ariola, but he knows he can't just come out and announce some random bum, because people are going to be saying, well, if you're going to fight them anyway, why don't you fight Ariola? Which is the logical thing to say, by the way, because the fans. Listen. The bottom line is right now, yeah, in my opinion, Andy Ruiz wants to fight an out-and-out bum. That's my opinion. He wants to fight a proper bum. I mean, a bum. Chris Ariola is a certain level, yeah? He wants to fight a bum. That's what I'm thinking he wants to do. And that's what, truth be known, who's Andy Ruiz going to fight in September, which is only two months away? It's going to be a bum, 100%. Andy Ruiz is going to fight a super bum in September. However, he ain't going to come out and say that. Why? Because he wants to be on pay-per-view. That's half of the reason why. And also, he's learnt this script from Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Keep AJ's name, keep big names in your mouth, and it helps you. Keep big names in your mouth and fight a bum, and you can put it on pay-per-view. That's what Wilder's done for years. Wilder, keep AJ's name in his mouth, fight Ortiz, who's a bum. I'm not even talking about Ortiz. You'll notice that I've only ever mentioned Dillian Whyte because Ortiz, for me, is a bum. Don't get me wrong, I'd be lying if I told you Ortiz is top 20, but what's he done? Like, again, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, but it's better than nothing. It's better than a bum, but in my opinion, Andy Ruiz, if he was really serious, why would he have turned down the Dillian, or not turned down, but why was he so wait there, you're not keen on Deontay Wilder, but all of a sudden you're keen for Dillian Whyte and Ortiz. Seems a bit off. Something ain't right for me. Now, I guess you can say, YB, well, Deontay Wilder's busy. Okay, let's forget about Wilder then. Let's just focus on Dillian and Ortiz. What about Ariola? I've just got a feeling. Fair enough, yeah? Because we know, this is the thing as well. Dillian Whyte's in the US. Dillian Whyte wants a fight in the US. So, I don't care what no one says. We know Dillian would jump at the Andy Ruiz fight. I just know it. I know Dillian, and I know he'd jump on that fight. And if the fight happens, I'll put my hands in the air and say, you know what, I was wrong. But until it happens, you know, given what's just happened with Tyson Fury, yeah, I hope you man don't blame me for being sceptical. I'll believe it when I see it. Now, to be fair to Ruiz, I believe if he signs the fight will happen. He's not going to pull out, but I'm saying, let me see. Wait, if Dillian Whyte and Ruiz get signed, I'll say, yeah, I was wrong. But for now, I feel I know boxing too well. Do you really think Ruiz is going to have 8 weeks to fight Dillian Whyte? It's July now, and Andy Ruiz said he's definitely fighting in September, which tells me that you got 2 months. You think it's going to be coming off that kind of fight as well. So you've just got washed by Ariola. You're feeling uncertain, and you're telling me you're going to suddenly jump into. You didn't want to rematch Ariola, but you used to tell me you can jump in with Ortiz or better yet, Dillian. Nah, sorry. Especially not how I heard you the other day. The other day you was talking about, I need to stay in my own lane. I need to rebuild. A man who needs to rebuild don't need no parts of Dillian Whyte. Now I don't know. Maybe Andy Ruiz is gassed and he's been listening to the LDBC and he thinks Dillian Whyte's a bum and he sees 40-year-old Povetkin sent him to meet his maker. Maybe that's fair enough. If that's, like I said, if it gets signed for September, I'll be all for it. I'd love to see that fight. I think Dillian will probably ice him, to be fair. Seeing how Ariola did him, I think he's going to get iced. Bottom line. I think Dillian could potentially do what AJ didn't. Which I actually think would be good for the sport. And it would be good for AJ to get AJ's head back in the game. The best thing for AJ right now would be Dillian smoking Ruiz within 6 rounds, because that'll make him and his team look real silly. And you best believe the YB's there for it, 100%. I'll be all over it. Yeah, I'll make sure if Dillian Whyte smokes Ruiz in 6 rounds, if AJ and his team don't clock, you best believe the YB will make sure they clock. Anyway, listen. That's me. That's my hopeful thinking. My hopeful thinking is Ruiz is genuine. But what the sport of boxing tells me is that PBC, Al Heyman, they know what to do. Yep, keep big names in your mouth and fight a bum. Look at Gervonta Tank Davis, for example. This is the playbook, you know, guys. Let's get serious here. Look at Caleb Plant. Canelo. Keep big names in your mouth. Charlos. Canelo. Don't fight. Don't want. Canelo rocks up, pulls up. Yeah, man, let's get in. Goes missing. Goes quiet. This is the playbook. Fair play to Al Heyman. It's better than not, innit? He makes money out of nothing. Tank Davis talks all the big names. Josh Taylor, etc. Then fights some next Mario Kart ain't no one heard of before. No one had heard of Mario until Tank fought him. This is the playbook. Talk big names and fight a complete bum. That's what I believe's happening here. It's not going to be Dillian. Could it be Ortiz? Well, listen, Ortiz is much more likely than Ruiz, but I don't think neither is likely. I think it will be a complete stiff, and I think ultimately, well, shockingly speaking, I think it may even be on pay-per-view. Genuinely, I really do. I think they're milking this pay-per-view. I think they're milking this Ruiz pay-per-view. They know how loyal the Mexican fans are, and they want to milk it some more. Truth be known, what should happen here? I know Ruiz is going to fight a bum. And that's the thing. We know Dillian Whyte's available, so I'm struggling here to kind of work out where their angle is on this one. Because this, for me, is going to end up... They're going to look real silly. I hope Dillian jumps all over this and says, yep, we've sent contracts, so that it can be purely exposed. I don't want to see no ambiguity. I don't want to see none of that. I do actually wonder sometimes about these teams. I know it's not been long, but I hope Dillian jumps on this kind of thing. I don't want to hear why would you not? Jump on it and say, you know what, Andy, we've just sent a contract. Get at us. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I need to hear from Dillian Whyte right now. Don't let it sit for a week and then, Andy Ruiz can say, I didn't hear for a week. Get on it now. What are you man doing all day? Lamar Scott, what are you doing? Send the damn email now. What are you doing all day? Innit? See the news article. Send the email. What's wrong with these guys? I swear down. The YOB needs to start managing some of these goofies. What are you doing all day, Lamar Scott? Lamar Scott, what are you doing? It's no good talking about, it's no good inventing yourself into someone's brother and you can't send an email. What's wrong with you? Goofy. Taking another man's name. What is this? Some fruity rainbow thing. Yeah? Taking some next man's name. What's wrong with that man? Yeah? Some fruity tooty rainbow ting dong. Listen, Lamar Scott is a rainbow ting dong. Yeah? Take him next man's name. Yeah? You best believe that's some 2021 thing. Only in 2021, some big hardback 6-foot brother can be taking some next man's name. That's 100% 2021. Yeah? No doubt. Anyway, listen. Andy, I hope you're genuine. I hope you genuinely want Dillian. But I ain't holding my breath. I've seen way too much in this sport. I know this sport too well. You will be fighting a bum in September. And it may even be on pay-per-view. That for me. I know I've said it a few times, but that for me is what I feel. There was a time when I was very naive, probably 10 years ago, I'd have said, oh, yeah, Ruiz versus Dillian kind of thing. Not now. Because one thing this sport teaches you is you never get the matchups that are worth seeing. You get everything but. You get Tank versus Mario Kart. You get Ruiz versus whoever. I just can't believe that you go 50-50 with Areola. And then you think you're going to jump in there with Dillian Whyte. I just don't see that myself. And I actually think that this is a strategy to duck Areola. Because Ruiz couldn't come out and say, I'm just going to fight a bum. Because they would say, well, fight Areola if you're going to fight a bum anyway. Kind of thing. Not that Areola's a bum. I actually rate Areola. I think Areola's not the most naturally gifted, but he's a warrior. Yeah? In the sport, like, for me, Areola's probably is like a throwback warrior kind of thing. For me, Areola, not a throwback, but for me, he's got a piece of the old school in him. He's not fully old school, but he's got a piece of it in him. A piece of it lives in him. Because the fighters today would see a name like Ruiz. They'd see a name like Ruiz with Alvarez's trainer, and they'd say, oh, yep, I'm going to jump on the floor like Mallet Scott. That's what 2021 trainers do. Sorry, that's what 2021 athletes do in boxing. They think, oh, I'm fighting the name. Yep, I'll jump on the floor then. But Ariola said, you know what, I'm fighting the name, and I'm going to come and... I may not be the most naturally gifted, but I'm going to come in and give it what I've got. And he did that, and he embarrassed the star. Which is a rare quality today, especially in heavyweight boxing. And in my opinion, he deserves a rematch. And what frustrates me the most is that at the end of the fight, when Andy Ruiz was being booed, he said,
Oh, you know, oh, you want a rematch?
you know what I'm saying? He was gassing the place up. Oh, if you want a rematch, let's run it back. All of a sudden, that's how you know that the behaviour is suspect. You said let's run it back. Now all of a sudden you ain't in. Why? You know what I'm saying? What happened to that? But all of a sudden you want us to believe you want to fight Dillian. So wait there, you don't want to rematch Ariola, but you want to fight Dillian. Which I guess to an extent you can argue, because you can say, well, Dillian's a pay-per-view fight. Maybe Ruiz, and that's actually, to be fair, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe Ruiz is thinking to himself, you know what? I need to cash out. I need to cash out real bad, real quick, because I can't be, if I fight Ariola again, I'm you know what I'm saying? So maybe, we'll know either way, but even having said that, in 6-7 weeks, that doesn't make, that's the stumbling block for me. If he's dead set at fighting in September, would he really only give himself 6-7 weeks, 8 weeks? That's what's most unbelievable for me. But then again, maybe this September date isn't fixed. Maybe it can be, oh well, September, October, or whatever, or November. That would be, if I know the fight was variable date, then anything's possible. But for now, in conclusion, it will be Andy Ruiz versus some randomer you've never heard of. That's what I think's happening next. If I know boxing, that's what will be next.